Everybody calm down. Yes, it's India-Pakistan, but it's just another game. Or is it? Let's ask two people who've been there. One has an inside view, the other has a ringside view of all things India-Pakistan. Dinesh Karthik and Harsha Bhogle with us on Cricbuzz. Whoever said there's no buzz around India-Pakistan, are they lying or are they living under a rock?
Who said there's no buzz?
A lot of people on Twitter. Is there no buzz? Because Cricbuzz is certainly here.
Of course there's a buzz.
There is a
If
buzz.
you don't have a buzz on an India-Pakistan cricket match, then you don't have a buzz on any game in the world. So there is a buzz. I have my own thoughts on how much of a buzz to create around the game, given that Virat Kohli is hugging Haris Rauf and sharing jokes with Shaheen Afridi. So how much of a buzz we create versus how much of a buzz actually exists, we'll have a debate for another day. But of course there's a buzz.
Or what the definition of buzz is. Different people mean different things by buzz. You've commentated on a lot of India-Pakistan games. You've been out there in the center. As part of my prep for this show, I saw the last half hour of Virat Kohli and Harsha Bhogle at their absolute peak at the MCG a few months ago.
That's not what Twitter thinks.
Nah, that's
Since you watch Twitter.
That's true, sir. You walked into bat with 5 deliveries to be bold. Describe that moment for us. And what is it like from the inside? On the outside, we don't really know the complete picture, the real picture of what India versus Pakistan is.
Goosebumps. Walking in, I remember it was a terrific day in terms of the weather. I come from Chennai, so cold is not something that we're used to. It was a chill evening. I remember walking in and I knew what I had to do, which was to try and hit the ball as far as I could. But then Virat came and told me, we're not in a hurry. And then I looked up the scoreboard and I'm like, okay, if you're saying we're not in a hurry, all right, no, everything got to change. But the key part of that was there was a bold of Virat Kohli, which ended up being a free hit. And we ran 3 for that. I don't think I've got as many messages congratulating me for my running between the wickets than whatever I have done in my little time with the Indian team. That is the impact of what India versus Pakistan is.
But you ran well.
Let's not go down there, Harsha.
No, but you ran well. I mean,
presence of mind is something that I can take credit for because Virat actually didn't know. And I'm like, run. And then, we ran those 3. But as I said, what happened post that match was pretty much in many ways in my life, one of the most memorable few minutes of my life because I knew that, this kind of an atmosphere, 100,000 people watching, cold day, just pipping Pakistan to the line, Ashwin doing something special. He and I have played for so long. Virat Kohli producing an absolute gem. Felt like it was written in the stars. It was a great moment. You got to understand that in the Asia Cup, they pushed us twice. They won once, we beat them once. All were close games. And this one just culminated into something that is, in many ways, a legacy game. I think we will still speak about it 2 decades afterwards because that's the kind of game that was. I don't think there's ever been a game like that between India and Pakistan in the last decade. That was close. They played hard. They pushed us. And there was one man who stood between Pakistan and victory and it was Virat Kohli.
He brought up Ashwin. We didn't. What did Ashwin say when he was going out to bat? Who was he cursing? For putting him in that situation. But you know what? Yes, that was a magical innings. There's no doubt about that. What about the presence of mind of letting a ball go? Huh?
It comes out of playing a lot of street cricket, Harsha. I mean, I spoke to Ashwin.
Could not agree more.
It comes out of playing a lot of street cricket.
Yes.
He had a lamppost behind him. So, all the runs had to be scored on the offside. And he had set himself subconsciously in such a way that if he's looking to hit an offside, anything comes on the leg side, he just let it go. And luckily for him, or unluckily for Pakistan, it ended up being in a place where he could have just left the ball. But still, a lot of people would have panicked and played a shot. Credit to Ashwin for just leaving a ball.
Harsha, lesser presenters have to think of words to say in big moments. But I'm sure in that moment when you're on air, I'm sure you didn't have to summon the best of your vocabulary. Things just happened, right? Or not?
Yes, and remember, when Virat has hit Haris Rauf for the 2 sixes, the game is not over. It's still a very difficult game to win in that last over. Game is not over. When Virat hits Haris Rauf for those 6s, you cannot suddenly become jingoistic and say, yeah man, come on, do it, come on, Virat, you're the king. You can't do that. The game is still open. Can you imagine you say, come on man, Virat, you're the king, and then he gets out of in the next over going for a 6. So you have to stay in the moment, but you also have to be aware of what is likely, who is watching the game. It's not only us watching the game. Remember, the whole world is watching the game. So you've got to be aware. So my thinking in that game was, don't go ahead of the script. You've got one of the finest broadcasters in the world pitch side down there. He's got all the atmosphere around. That's Ian Smith.
Yep.
So we had chatting with Ian Smith there. But I'm telling myself, don't get ahead of the situation, because if you start saying, wow, man, this is the greatest innings I ever played, and then you lose by 8 runs. So stay in the moment till the game is over. And I remember I keep telling everybody, you think, Arey, that was a good line, and nobody remembers it. Everyone remembers the line on the 6. Nobody remembers the line afterwards, which actually I was happy with. I don't know what happens to you as a batter. Arey, I like that shot, but no one remembers the shot. You know? I said, it is innings like these, Virat, that take you from the present into legend. Because that was an innings that, as DK said, is part of legend. It will be seen 20 years from now, just as his own finish in that game against Bangladesh will be seen for a long time. So that's what happened. But stay in that moment.
Now, this is India-Pakistan for you. We just started. We didn't know what to start with. We just started MCG. We've spoken 10 minutes about MCG and Pakistan. Man.
Okay, lesson learned. Let's live in the moment. India has won the toss and India have opted to bat first. Given the conditions, bat first, wise call?
I was very sure that India should bat first, because in Sri Lanka, consistently, it is a better place to bat first, because under lights, it's a completely different pitch in Sri Lanka. It's one of those Asian venues which offer a lot to the fast bowlers, and I think India have done the right decision. Yes, there is chances of rain, and in an ideal world, you might want to chase. But this game, this one match is not about winning or losing. It's about a very different story for Team India.
It's been 4 years since India played Pakistan in a one-day international. And I'm sure every cricket fan remembers each of these matches. The Oval, of course, that lost by 180 was that Fakhar Zaman special, if I remember correctly. And the others, Harsha, I suppose you would have been a part of all these broadcasts. Which one stands out for you?
I wasn't on the broadcast in 2017, but those were the earliest days of Cricbuzz. That is when the Cricbuzz video product started doing Facebook Live on the 2017 Champions Trophy. So I was watching it in the hotel room and doing Facebook Live from time to time. But yeah, I saw a lot of those games. There was a period when the tension of an India-Pakistan game was going out, because India had gone so far ahead that there was no tension. In my mind, there was never any tension in an India-Pakistan game. It also coincided with the peak that Virat Kohli was in. And I got the feeling in those games that Pakistan were a bit in awe of Virat Kohli. And he was always finishing games. Virat Kohli against Pakistan, the only comparison that comes to mind is Virendra Sehwag against Pakistan, with that kind of personality, that kind of presence. So it had got there, but Pakistan today, in my view, in white ball is on par with the great side that had Wasim and Waqar and Saeed and Inzamam and that team.
When did you see this Pakistan nucleus forming? Have you guys, do players keep an eye on what's happening with the other teams? I'm sure India is well aware of what Pakistan are all about now, this current squad.
I think we had the wood on them at least until the 2021 T20 World Cup happened. I think that's where things changed. Why it changed? I feel Pakistan, the PSL has become a much better product. They've also allowed Pakistani players to go and play outside leagues in the world, which has helped them to grow their players. But we had played so much cricket leading up to the 2021 T20 World Cup, and there was still turmoil about what kind of team to have, what's the combination. They came and beat us fair and square, and it started with that Shaheen Shah Afridi spell. And I think that's where there was a nail laid that day on the marker saying this is where we are going to turn around things. That was a terrific spell. They started things off, beat India by 10 wickets, and that is when I think they started believing, because all the way up till then, they always were beaten in a World Cup. It had to happen at some point of time. And I think the floodgates opened in 2021 T20 World Cup in Dubai.
Let's take a look at the Pakistan playing 11. No changes. There's a sense of stability and calm around Pakistan cricket. And the fact that they've gone in unchanged just shows that there is a lot of belief and a certain clarity of thought in their minds.
I said in the game against Nepal, that is, if Pakistan are playing the final of the World Cup, that's their team. I mean, you could look at Saad Shakil.
Yep.
Maybe you could look at Osama Mir, maybe in place of Mohammad Nawaz, but that is their side. And what I read into them playing the same side against Nepal, same against India, is they're trying to get their first 11 to play as many games as possible, so they understand roles much better and they understand playing with each other much better. So this stability is not something you've seen when Pakistan were not playing well.
Yeah.
So this is their first 11 that if they're playing the final today, that is the team that's playing.
Playing an extra spinner would have been playing into India's hands, isn't it?
I completely agree with Harsha. This could very well be the final 11 going into a World Cup. The only difference being if Mohammad Nawaz isn't bowling well. I think that's when Usama Mir comes in. Mohammad Nawaz is picked because he can bat a little better than Usama Mir. He's been a very steady bowler for them. But if Mohammad Nawaz really goes Ori with the ball and Iftikhar Ahmed is not able to do that backup role again as an off spinner, that's when they'll tilt a little bit towards Usama Mir. Otherwise, that's a very, very strong 11.
Shaheen and Naseeb wouldn't mind bowling first, right? Slightly overcast conditions.
Absolutely.
get a
There
quick-
will be seam movement for sure.
Yeah.
We saw it in the last game as well. There was seam movement when Bangladesh and Sri Lanka played, and there will definitely be some seam movement for the fast bowlers. And they have three of the best in the world right now as a combination. They're very lethal. They bowl at different points of time in the 50-over format, and they're very, very good. They're very confident as well. Shaheen Shah Afridi has come back from a very good tournament in the 100 and the NatWest Blast. You had Haris Rauf, who bowled brilliantly as well. Naseem Shah is definitely the most improved fast bowler. His record, even though it's a small sample size, is stellar actually in the time that he's played ODI
The
cricket.
one thing I'd like to see is Pakistan in a big game without Shaheen Afridi giving them a breakthrough. His record in the first couple of overs is extraordinary. I mean, when Mohammad Amir went away, you thought, wow, they're missing a wow bowler. And this young man comes in and he says, no, you're not missing anybody, I'm here. But how do Pakistan react if they're not getting that breakthrough from Shaheen Afridi? If you're 45 for no loss after 10 overs, or 50 for no loss after 10 overs, how are Pakistan playing? That's what I'd like to see.
Is there a plan B in place for Pakistan? What about India's plan A? India's playing 11 has been discussed threadbare all across the country on social media as well. And this is what they've gone in with for this game against Pakistan. Shardul Thakur finds a spot. No Shami there. I can see Siraj, Bumrah, Shardul, Kuldeep Yadav, Ravindra Jadeja, the five first choice bowlers. Hardik Pandya could bowl a bit as well. Shreyas Iyer is there. How relieved are we to see that name, DK?
Very, very, very good 11, and it's great to see Shreyas Iyer back in action.
You know why he's saying very good 11, no? He WhatsApped it to them just before.
So backstage,
He's been talking about that 11.
so before the show started, obviously we were discussing, and I had said this is the 11 that they're going to be playing. Even though Sanjay Manjrekar said in the pitch report there might be a little bit of turn and bounce, I still felt they'll go with Shardul Thakur. Like how we felt Pakistan's 11 could very well be the 11 that they would be playing in the World Cup. I think India will go in with this same 11 that they have. The two changes, the first one would obviously be KL Rahul coming in for Ishan Kishan. And if the pitch is slow and it's 8 spin, then obviously Akshar Patel will come in for Shardul Thakur. We constantly keep speaking about India not sure about the 11. I think India are very sure. I think we are not sure whether India are sure. I think Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma pretty much earmarked the team.
DK, you're understanding the media slowly as you go along. A settled 11 is not good for the media, it's good for the team.
True.
So what will you talk about if it's a settled team? I think, Rahul, we talked about it the other day. Rahul made a very valid point. He said, my three contenders, my top three players for 4 and 5, all are injured at the same time. What should I do?
Absolutely.
So I think in this team, if Rishabh Pant was available, would have made a big difference. Only KL Rahul. I don't know whether we put the batting order like that or that's the way it's come from there.
That's the way it's come from there.
Because if that is what India is going to play, then there's a statement there about Kohli batting at 4. My view has always been that the big players own their position because they've won new matches from there. You don't move the big player because someone else can't bat somewhere else.
Maybe they looked at Ishan Kishan's number at number 4.
What about Virat Kohli's numbers at 3? What is winning
Case
you more
closed.
matches?
Case closed.
Look, I cannot agree with Harsha more. And I say that because I think this is a game where you want to have a look at Shreyas Iyer. You want to have a look at Jasprit Bumrah. You want to make sure Virat Kohli is batting at 3. That is not even a topic for debate. And I say that because the number of games he's won at 3. And arguably in this across the board, if you look at ODI cricket, he'll probably be the best in the world that's batted at number 3. In terms of winning matches, I think Ricky Ponting would come close to him, but I still think Virat
Maybe
Kohli,
only Viv in his peak,
Richards,
yeah.
I'm sorry, Vivian Richards for sure, but I don't think there's anybody else who will even come close to what Virat Kohli has come to achieving. Now, having said that, the mistake that we shouldn't do is sending him at 4. Because I think in 2007, they tried that with Sachin Tendulkar and he had batted a little bit at number 4, but he was never happy with it. I think it's better to have a happy Virat Kohli batting at 3 than one who is not sure, especially with the way he starts against spin. I think it will be very, very wrong to send Virat Kohli at number 4.
Yes, number 4 is a scar that Indian fans have been carrying since 2019, and the man that has the responsibility of addressing that issue is Shreyas Iyer. His numbers, public memory is really short. His numbers at number 4 are something that should give Indian fans a lot of encouragement.
You know, I like his attitude very much. Sometimes you look at Shreyas Iyer and all the talk is about how does he play the short ball.
Yeah.
Cricket is more about what you do in spite of certain situations. Are you turning up numbers like these? You're turning up numbers like these and you're saying, I'm talking of a serious player, you know.
Yeah.
But as DK said, this game is more about two key players, Shreyas Iyer and Jasprit Bumrah. They're both coming back after a long time. Is Bumrah bowling that great spell, keeping those overs back? Still the best, in my view, the best death bowler in the world. Is Shreyas Iyer suddenly saying, okay guys, enough conversations about number 4, here I am. That is what I want to see in this game.
There's a meeting on the 5th. Regardless of what happens tonight, what are they going to talk about on Monday or Tuesday?
I feel in an ideal world, we shouldn't hurry players up. And what I mean by that, we should be okay to lose a game against Pakistan today. It is okay because we have Jasprit Bumrah coming in and playing a full nation after some time. There is a Shreyas Iyer who's coming back after an injury after a long time. It is not about winning today. It is about making sure that these boys find their feet. We are leading up to the Asia Cup final. There is time for that. There's 2 weeks for that. Let's not be in a hurry to get a performance today. I think it is more about them understanding their body and us understanding what they are trying to do there. It is not about trying to put in an exemplary performance to show the world that they're fit. I think these boys have done a lot of hard work in Bangalore, in NCA, in trying to get their bodies right. And that process is still not over. It will still take time to play a 50-over match. Playing a T20, which Bumrah has played, to what he will be doing today, just standing on the field, fielding, doing all those things is very different. It will be tired legs. We need to give them time. It is not about a performance today. It is about allowing players to have not their best day, but a day when they feel confident about their body. And that will take at least a couple of matches.
And don't forget, when you come back from a big injury, the one thing you're worried about is having that injury again.
Yeah.
Are you saying, I'm completely back, man? I remember Javagal Srinath saying once that when you come back from the shoulder injury, your first instinct, I don't want that shoulder injury again. So other parts of the body start to take the strain, but they're not used to the strain. So when you come back from a big injury, watch out for another injury somewhere else. So that is why I agree with DK. Don't expect suddenly Bumrah to turn up and be wow. But if Bumrah's got his rhythm right, that's good enough. There's one other person I want to see. And I want to see Hardik Pandya bat. I just feel Hardik Pandya's batting has just gone off the boil a little bit. I think Hardik Pandya, the Gujarat Titans player, is good for Hardik Pandya of Gujarat Titans. I'm not sure that is the best option for Hardik Pandya. The India player, Hardik, the Mumbai Indians player, was perfect for Hardik, the India player. So I'd like to see Hardik bat with freedom, because when Hardik gets going at the back end of an innings, he's one of the most destructive in the game. I'd like to see Hardik get there. So I'm also going to be watching Hardik today because he fills that very crucial role. Hardik and Jadeja are playing two very, very crucial roles in this innings, in this side.
Just a little more on Shreyas. Coming back, I mean, he hasn't played a game for 6 months. Coming back in a big game like this, it's a battle with your own self, isn't it? Psychologically.
There will be plenty of moments during this day when he just stands and feels his back a bit. He wants to make sure that his back is okay. There will be plenty. When he's dived, he'll just get up, he'll make sure the back is okay. It's a normal reaction. I've gone through an injury when coming back. At every point of time, you want to go through all the rigors of what you would as you would in a normal match, and then feel your body is saying okay to it. The moment there's a little bit of pain, you suddenly get scared. It's a normal reaction to it. So this game will be all about that. Yes, the ball hitting the bat, him feeling it. He might be very scratchy at start and slowly get his rhythm into it. You might not get the strike rates that we are used to seeing a Shreyas Iyer bat, which is take on the spinners right away. It will be more about occupying the crease, understanding what it feels to be back playing international cricket. And these are all big moments that you have to internalize. It's not about showing the world what you can do. It's about showing yourself that you're capable and your body is ready for the whole gamut of playing a game.
I'm scared as well. I'm under pressure because I believe the producers have been up to some kind of mischief. I've been told to tell you guys what the joy factor question is. Let's bring it up. I wonder what the producers have. Oh, come on. Don't do that. No. Anyway, we'll focus on the question instead, not the picture. Besides being India players...
sorry. I didn't even... the good news for you is if you hadn't brought it up, everybody was so focused on the question, they wouldn't have noticed anything else. So you actually drew attention to it.
At least in the graphic, I'm as tall as Joy is, although I don't have silver hair.
Life is never about height. It's always about stature.
Let's go back to the question. Let's focus on what Joy has sent us. Apologies, Joy, but here's the question. Besides being India players, what connects KL Rahul, Ishan Kishan, Sanju Samson, Manish Pandey, Sky, Kohli, Washington Sundar, Hardik, Aksar, Shreyas and Pant?
This is the kind of question, this is the kind of ball Shreyas Iyer wants to get first ball coming back. Saying, okay, I got it.
Any idea?
This one? I don't want to pretend to know it all in case I'm wrong. But I think
okay, let's wait. DK?
No, not a clue.
Wait for 7.5 hours. We shall reveal the answer to that question in our post-game show. Or should we reveal it now?
Unless you have another question midway through,
Okay.
keep them guessing.
Let's reveal the answer now. We'll have another one from Joy. Or should we? No, it's okay. Never mind. I think the answer is all these players have batted at...
Why giving the answer before? You're assuming that everyone knows it?
I've just been told we have a lot of Joy Factor questions. We can do 2 in a day.
Okay.
They've all batted at 4.
Yeah, they've all batted 4 in the last, year, 2 years.
So many have been tried. And yet we're struggling. Nobody's fault. It's just that sometimes...
No, I have to correct you. We are not struggling. Shreyas Iyer is earmarked and ready. Before that, it was Rishabh Pant. He was ready. It's just that they got injured.
All right. Let's talk about...
I don't mind KL Rahul at 4 either. But KL Rahul at 5 is working well. I don't mind KL Rahul at 4 either.
Let's talk about happier stories. The 2 stars, the 2 biggest batting stars of both countries, Virat Kohli and Babar Azam, will be in action. Very contrasting personalities, but big batting stars in their own countries. Harsha, how different are they from each other?
That you'll have to ask him. What I will tell you
From the outside.
What I will tell you is Virat Kohli has been on a very long journey.
Yeah.
Longevity is one of the lesser appreciated aspects in cricket. If someone has played at a certain level, Virat Kohli has played at this level almost from 2009-10. Up and down, but he's played at this level for 14 years. Babar Azam has played at this level for 5 or 6 years. Babar Azam is walking in footsteps that are there. Those footsteps are Virat Kohli's. So every step that he takes in Virat Kohli's step is a step up for Babar, who's playing beautifully, but Virat Kohli's steps are still much further. He has to walk all over there till he can be compared to Virat Kohli. So at this stage, yes, he's batting very well, but Virat Kohli has done this over a much longer period.
Sometimes, not on digital, but on cricket television, some people tend to manufacture excitement that isn't there. And they try to make it look like a really bitter rivalry. Oh, Virat the king versus Babar the king.
If you're a cricket lover, you'll say, man, I'm getting to watch Virat and I'm getting to watch Babar. I don't care who's in better form at the moment. I'm getting to watch both. How does it matter to me at the moment who's number 1, who's not number 1? Because the rankings will come and go. Yeah. Never go by the ICC rankings because those depend on the most recent performances. Yeah. If you've not played for 3 months, you drop down the rankings there. So, I mean, it's very good television to say who's better, Virat, Babar. Babar is playing very well. Virat is in this form one of the greatest there has ever been. Babar is on course to getting there.
DK, what gets around, right? When a young player starts to do well, I know India hasn't played Pakistan too much, but I'm sure Indians would be aware of what Babar Azam is all about. They would have maybe seen some clip here or there and they would be aware of what Babar Azam is capable of.
The only thing that connects both Virat Kohli and Babar Azam is the fact that both don't play the sweep shot very well.
Trust him out of everything to find that one thing.
Other than that, they're chalk and cheese. Very different personalities, very different batting methodologies, and very different approaches to the sport. One is more calm, sedate, one is in your face, and I'll show you what I got sort of an approach. what I like about both those players is they bring different flavors, very different countries, very different cultures, and both have been setting about their jobs in the right way and giving an example as to how cricket should be played and doing it their own way. And I think both are, if I had to give an analogy, it's like Virat Kohli is an emperor. I think Babar Azam at the moment is just definitely getting there. There is no doubt about it. He is a king. Like when we spoke about Virat Kohli, we were speaking about Sir Vivian Richards, Ricky Ponting. Now, those are fair comparisons. Yep. The sample size is big, and all three have achieved greatness over a period of time. Hashim Amla, for a long time, was in the running to becoming one of the greatest ODI players until he fell down a little bit at the back end of his career.
But he also came from a country that didn't have a strong media. If Hashim Amla was Indian, English or Australian, he would have been 3 times the player that he was.
And you do take Aravinda De Silva batting at number 3. And there are many names. Let's not go down that route. But Babar Azam is a very, very good player. What I felt when I watched him bat from just behind the wickets was the sense of timing that he has. He has a very low back lift. And he has a very good setup, but the sense of timing, the sound at which the ball, rather the sound that you get when the ball hits the bat is very, very different to the other players there. He has a very short back lift, and that generally will say that, those kind of players will use their bottom hand a lot. But Babar Azam is somebody who is able to use his top hand in a technical fashion very, very well. And that's what sets him apart, and that's what has made him a strong player across formats. Now with Virat Kohli, he is a very bottom-handed player, but he's worked on his game so much to become a top-handed player, and he is a phenomenal guy when it comes to using what goes on, what is there between the ears.
Tell me, sometimes when your natural game is that bottom-handed game, but you want to be very good through the offside, you mold your game. Do you lose that? Because Virat Kohli's whiplash shot through mid-wicket is one of the great shots in the game. We talk about the cover drive, yes, but that whiplash bottom-hand shot, the one that even if Haris Rauf was that shot, in a sense, and very, very few people have the power to carry it off. He should not. Can players lose that in trying to be this beautiful top-handed cover drive player?
You can reduce that a little bit. It does happen because when you're looking to get one part of your game well, a little bit drops off and it automatically happens because when you're trying to become slightly more offside, it's like you tend to use your top hand a little firmer, and that in turn will allow you not to play through the leg side, the kind of fluency that you had. But in Virat Kohli's case, I think he's made a good marriage of both. If you do take his early videos in international cricket, it will be very different to what he is today, for sure.
If you see Virat Kohli's Instagram page, he's made a good marriage of everything.
Let's come back. There's also a mutual admiration society between Virat Kohli and Babar Azam. A couple of quotes that have been doing the rounds. Here's what Virat said, and he spoke about how he's seen a lot of regard and respect from Babar. It's good to see, right? This kind of bonhomie, this kind of camaraderie. It just seems like players are insulated from what happens on news channels and elsewhere outside.
It is inevitable. Look, don't forget that Virat Kohli, for all the impression he gives on the field, you think when Joe Root comes into bat, Virat Kohli doesn't know that a great batter is coming into bat. He might say something to it, but you think he doesn't know that a great batter? Virat Kohli is never going to go into a press conference and say, you know what, that way Joe Root, he can't bat. So that respect across is something you earn. If I was Babar Azam today, I would say that is what Virat Kohli thinks about me. Dude, you've done something good in life because you earned respect in the opposition dressing room. That is what you eventually play the game for, respect in your dressing room and respect in the opposition dressing room. So these are very good players, but don't also forget that Babar Azam, in a sense, Virat is like a role model to him. And I think what Babar said about talking to Virat in 2019 and Virat helping him was very interesting. Yep. But you'll find this across the world. It's one great aspect of our game. I remember Rahul Dravid saying that about Steve Waugh. And Steve Waugh said, I'll talk to you, but after the series. And as soon as the series was over, he said Steve Waugh had all the time to talk to me about the series. This will happen around the world. You think if Vicky Kaushal goes to Shah Rukh and talks to him about being a star in the industry, Shah Rukh will chal ja? When you're secure, you're willing to share your knowledge. If you're insecure, you're not willing to share your knowledge.
There's also a quote that's coming from Babar Azam as well. Now, he's shown a lot of humility in saying that, we get to learn stuff from Virat as well. So it's good to see that's what he said. And he's referred to how he's learned a fair bit and learned a lot from him. It means that Virat was open enough and kind enough and magnanimous enough to share his inputs.
I think Virat's been that way for some time now when it comes to giving inputs to players. You see whenever an IPL game finishes, there'll be a bunch of boys who will go to Virat, and he's always found the time to do it. It's great that he's brought the example of a Steve Vaughan or Rahul, because I was part of the Ashes that just happened, and I just took Steven Smith's bat one day before work and was tapping with it, and I saw the bottom of it. It was written Virat Kohli. So basically, I asked him, using Virat Kohli's bat. And he said, yes, I've been using his bat for a couple of years now. I asked him for a new one. He said he's going to send me one. So that's the kind of relationship that they have. An Australian player using a Virat Kohli's bat. It's a small gesture, but at the end of the day, because of the franchisee cricket happening around the world, you tend to be with each other, play against each other a lot more than you used to. So you generally have a good friendship with most of the people. And I think world cricket also mellowed down a lot to what it used to be. There used to be a lot more different banter of the stronger variety. It's reduced a lot. And Babar Azam, and if you had to compare Babar Azam and Virat Kohli, the one thing I will say is Virat Kohli finds a way in those big moments to be there. Whereas Babar Azam, in his small sample size, still hasn't done as well as he would like against India.
Wow, there's so much to talk about. We could have done a 3-hour show. We haven't even spoken about Shubman Gill. But here's the joy factor question for you, the real joy factor question. Here's what you need an answer to. Thank you for bringing back Joy's face. This cricketer's first international wicket was Roshan Mahanama, caught by Kiran More. His last wicket came in a test match where a future India captain made his debut. Name the cricketer. I think I know the answer to this one.
Roshan Mahanama, caught by Kiran More. So we're talking a certain era.
Yep. 90s?
Kiran More played...
Mid-90s.
Nayan Mongia came in 94. Kiran More started in 85, 86. Between Kirmani and Kiran More at Sadan Vishwanath for a while. So you're talking period between 86 and 92.
Let's come back to 2023. Rohit's just hit a boundary. We've got to wrap up.
Oh, okay.
But before we say bye, quick prediction.
The problem with DK when he starts telling all these anecdotes, you and I forget time.
50 over prediction. First inning score, India.
I still believe in pitch reports. And going by that pitch report a little bit to everybody, I'm going 285.
I hate doing this, but I'll just say a number 292.
306. These are our predictions. You can share yours as well on Twitter. Make sure you join us at the 15 over mark on Cricbuzz Combox with Dinesh Karthik and Harsha Bhogle. Bye for now. Enjoy the game.